Welcome back to Slices, the podcast where we take a deep dish dive into the pop cultural zeitgeist, movies, TV, music, culture, anything. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Max.
Yeah, welcome back. We're here for another episode, this time live and on camera.
On camera, here we are. These
yeah,
are our faces.
We're usually doing just audio, but we decided to step up our game a little bit.
True.
And go with the live stuff. So I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. Here we are in Wethersfield.
We are here. We are back again. We're stronger than ever. We're gonna get right into it. So today we're talking about a few different things. There's a lot of stuff that happened this summer, movie-wise, TV. We're gonna start off with the ending of Succession, which it was definitely a big thing in the culture. Everyone was watching Succession. Everyone was Succession Sundays, and everyone was really obsessed with it. And it finally ended late May 28th. Max, what are your thoughts?
I'm pretty sad about it. I mean, aren't we all about it ending? I know, like we've been talking about since it ended. I was both like unsatisfied but happy with the ending.
Right.
I don't know. You said you liked it, right?
Yeah, I liked the ending. It was very divisive, obviously. I mean, a lot of people disagreed. I just didn't think how there would be any other way to end it because, I guess it could have had another season, but I think they kind of wrapped it up perfectly for having season 4 as the last season because, what else? There's no way that it could have ended with one of the kids winning, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I would have been okay if Kendall won, and like, I guess what I was always imagining was like he got what he wanted, but at what cost? Like, so I thought that it was setting up that his wife and kids would like desert him, his family would hate him, his dad would be dead, so like, poetically he wouldn't get the respect that he wanted from Logan. And then I thought it would just kind of like be him at the top, but it's pretty much the opposite, or not the opposite actually. It kind of turned out that way. Just ended up with him losing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just ended in the best way possible. You're right. It's either going to end with him winning and him taking over the company, but like at what cost? What is he really winning? He's still on the outs with his kids and his family. It's funny, the whole series. I forgot he has kids multiple times.
Yeah.
But
they're at the beginning and the end and like the whole middle, like he.
Yeah. But it ended in a way where it's like it's just this repeated cycle of him and Shiv and Roman just gearing up and getting ready to take it over, and then they keep losing again. And it's just saying like it's never gonna happen. Even with Logan in the grave, you're still gonna lose to him and like his what he's built and his company. And I thought they did it well, especially. And I was thinking after the ending, kind of like where, like, because sometimes you think when something ends, like you want to see more of it, like what's gonna happen to these characters after the ending of the show. And I was really curious because it seemed like Roman, he seemed better off. Shiv seemed, she's married. Her kid will be fine. Yeah. And she kind of has a big, powerful spot. She got what she wanted in a way. It just seemed like Kendall was kind of the big loser.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see where it's going to go.
Big loser. Yeah.
I'm curious to see where it'll go after.
The whole thing got kind of undercut for me when I when I was watching, because you get so wrapped up. I was like, wow, feel so bad for him, and it's kind of undercut when you remember like he's a billionaire. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He will be fine for life. Like he's just not in charge of the company.
Yeah, I mean it's not a show I can relate to at all.
No,
there's no part of it where I can be.
He's like sitting on that bench,
relatable.
like that moment when you like have to live with your billions and
exactly. It's
can't
like,
make it.
The moment when you have to like stop neglecting your children and like actually be around your family.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good season. It was like one of those. It was one of those like seasons of television where with every episode it was like, I guess they topped it.
Yeah.
Like literally every single episode. I mean, let's on IMDb still like at this moment at 9.9 out of 10 stars Connor's wedding is the highest rated episode.
That was a great episode.
Of the show, and then the season 3 episode 9 episode, which is I think that's the last episode of that season, right? That's like when
it's like all the bells. Or something.
It's like when. Let's see. It's the one where like Logan, like they, The first picture that comes up is when like, Kendall's like sitting and he's right. And I think it's also the one where they like confront Logan and he's like, "You're playing toy soldiers."
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to talk about the very spoilers? By the way, spoilers for. Probably should have said that before we said how the show ends.
You know what we're doing.
It's been out for a while, so spoiler alert. But do you want to talk about the death, Logan's demise?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way they did it felt very real. Like it felt, it was, a lot of the show was very, like I said, you can't really relate to it, really. Most of it's just kind of like, oh, these billionaires are oh, I'm sad because I didn't get to take over my company even though I'm already a billionaire. But I thought that was one of the few moments in the show that was like very real and genuine, and it related to like how it would actually go down in real life. Like death. I liked how it was over the phone too, because it's just so sudden. They had no idea it was going to happen. I like the fact that he didn't get this like grand, like massive death, because you knew it was coming. And I like the fact that they did it early in the season too, because it's unexpected. And like I said, it's over the phone. Like you don't. It could happen that way where you can't see them. You know, when they're dying, whatever. And you know, it's just over the phone call where you know, you're hearing your dad die. Yeah.
If it were like Breaking Bad, or like if it were a different kind of show, it would have been like he was assassinated or something crazy. But
yeah, Succession, it would be a weird like left turn if they like had him go out in a way that was like insane, because the show it's not like that. It's not like it's just 95% of the show is people in a room talking. Like, you know, it would be weird if he like someone like tried to like assassinate him or you know something like that or whatever.
Did I ever like ask who your favorite character? Like who is your favorite character? Especially like now the show's over and it's like you look at the whole like everybody's arc.
I'd probably say Roman, maybe. Maybe Roman.
Yeah, he's pretty entertaining.
He's good. Yeah. He's just he's like what the show needs, a comedic relief. You know, he's just goofy kind of. But I like the fact that like he was totally fine with like everything that happened. It made sense.
Yeah. I think Matthew McFadden, Tom, I think he might have the best performance of the show. Yeah. Like, not meaning like any one time where he's, or like the best. I mean, because Jeremy Strong is like really, really good. But I think that Tom's actor, like, I think that the way that he like transforms his character from being like the guy that was going to go to jail and was just like saying weird suggestive things at Greg in the beginning became like the CEO of like what's in the real world would be like, I don't know, like Time Warner or like Fox News or something. Like he looks so professional at the end compared to like where he is at the beginning.
Wow.
So
yeah, I know.
I feel like he has the biggest transformation, and it's like pretty amazing that to put it like Jeremy Strong would say, he had to reinformigate.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Dramaturgically.
He
had to, his performance was transformative dramaturgically. the waters of heaven were flowing down on Thomas.
How many of those TikToks did you send me?
There's a lot of them. They're really funny.
I was surprised.
And you know what's funny about it? There's like in 3 separate interviews he says "merry pranksters." 3 separate interviews, and he brings up.
What does that mean?
I don't even know, but he says it in 3 separate interviews of him saying, "Yeah, they're just merry pranksters."
He is a weird guy.
He's arguably weirder than.
Did you see his GQ interview? Like
no,
the thing
I
that he did.
that.
It was like 10 things I can't live without.
Oh yeah.
And he like even says in it, he's like, do most people bring in like normal stuff?
Yeah.
Like he has stuff that's like, this is my dog tags from
exactly.
this play.
He's like, this is a fossil, a dinosaur fossil from 3,000 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, he's
whatever.
Weird. He's weird. Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah, it is. I mean, where would you put? Because in the last year, you've watched Succession, Sopranos, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I guess that's the.
Are you asking if I had to rank those 3?
Like, now that you've taken in a lot more of like, what would you call it, legacy TV or whatever, where would you put Succession within television? Like also including the stuff that you've already, like not just those three, but like in television so far, like where would you put
It's definitely
Succession?
like way up there. I mean, it's quality television, but I think I'd still take Breaking Bad and Sopranos.
Yeah, I'd probably have to too.
I think so. But Succession's like way up there.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just quality TV altogether.
I feel like they were doing more with less, if you know what I mean. Like Breaking Bad, someone had to get like shot in the face or like melted for me to go, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
But like all that would happen would like someone like took sides in a merger, and I'd be like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
whoa!
exactly.
And I'd be like,
right.
Yeah.
What's the nature of what they're making?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like the stakes are lesser, but also feel crazier.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. Let's say like you switched it. Let's say like Succession you had in Breaking Bad where someone, like they're just talking and someone gets their face melted off. I'd be like, oh, that's a bit of a weird like cop out. But if it was Breaking Bad where like there's like a big action scene coming and then they're just like have like a discussion where someone gets outed or something, you'd be like that's a little weird.
Yeah,
so you can't really like whatever the show you're making, you gotta like understand like what it is you're making and how to like really get some shock value in there.
True.
I think they both did it well too.
Yeah.
You want to segue?
Yeah, I guess we could segue, right? Like,
yeah.
I can't think of anything else at the moment.
I'll
for
say
Succession.
the other massive thing this summer.
Yep.
Barbenheimer.
Yep.
Huge. It's been bigger than anything.
We both did the double feature. Not the double. My dad got mad at me for calling it a double feature.
Yeah, what
he
do you
was
say?
like, a double feature means you pay for one ticket and you see two movies. And I was like, well.
Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been bigger than anything this year. It's especially like in the movie cinema sphere. It's been absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And I think obviously all the buzz around just because it came out on the same day, whatever. Which was that necessarily meant to happen? Probably not. But once they saw like people were creating this whole Barbenheimer thing, they really jumped on the train and were like, okay, this could be something.
I'm nervous for when it starts to make, like when it starts to churn out bad. Like I'm not looking like what's a movie coming in 2024?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Let's see. So like there's gonna be, none of these look good. Whoopsie. Like there's gonna be One Love, which is the Bob Marley story, and there's also going to be like Garfield. So I'm like really worried there's going to be like one.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
Love Garfield.
There's going to be a million Barbenheimers now. Where
like
and
Beetlejuice 2 and Joker. Like I don't want to see Joker juice.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's money.
Yeah.
Like they see how much money. Oppenheimer would not have made this much money if it wasn't for Barbie too.
Well, vice versa. Like I think Barbie still.
Yeah, exactly,
they both would have made a lot of money if they were like a month apart. Yeah. But I don't think either would have made as much.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, really, it benefited. Both of the movies benefited for being out on the same day. And like the fact Cillian Murphy's coming out and saying, "Oh, I'll be a Ken if there's a Barbie too." Like, like
he's the Ken that's smoking darts, and he's like.
Yeah.
That
but yeah, I enjoyed both movies.
Yeah. Well, which you liked Oppenheimer more, right?
Yeah, I liked Oppenheimer more. I liked both, but I would take Oppenheimer more.
Yeah. Well, you saw each once.
Yeah, I saw each once. Yeah, I saw both on the same day.
So I saw Oppenheimer opening weekend, and then I couldn't get to Barbie until like 2-3 weeks after. Yeah. And then I saw Barbie, and then like 2 hours later, I saw Oppenheimer a second time. So I could kind of tell you what it's like to do both double features in a way, because I saw Oppenheimer, then I saw Barbie. Yeah. But then I also like saw Barbie and right after saw Oppenheimer. Exactly. I think Barbie is the first one to go with.
Yeah, I agree.
Because before I saw them, I assumed it was the opposite, because you would want to like wash it down with something positive. But Barbie doesn't like it starts very fun, so it's a fun way to start your night, and then it ends on a laugh. Like there's a joke that ends the movie, but it's still like an existential rise up at the end. Yeah. Which I think segues into Oppenheimer really nicely. And then Oppenheimer ends in such a way that like you really don't want to go, like you don't want to like drink wine and then wash it down with Gatorade. Yeah. Like, you kind of want to sit with the end of Oppenheimer. I feel like, Because when I left the movie, I was like, I was so taken aback. I was like, whoa.
Well, I know you've been asking this question a lot about Barbie, but like, what's the demographic for Barbie? Like, who is this? Are six, 7-year-old girls like go to see this movie, or? I kind of think, like, yes, in a way. Like, I think that what they were doing, it helps with something this iconic and something that like doesn't necessarily have a concrete story like built around it, because I think like what they did was, let's say like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old girl goes to see Barbie, all like the stuff about like feminism and all that. Well, obviously they probably won't pick up on a lot of it, but they'll just see Barbie and be like, oh my God, it's Barbie. Like, you know, I love Barbie, whatever. And throughout the whole movie, they'll be thinking the same thing. Like, oh, it's just Barbie, it's really cool. But for people who are older and want to go see it, it's less about like the character itself and more about like the issues and like stuff going on inside the film that like
I think
really go on.
Because I've been like thinking about this a lot. Like, I can't put myself in the shoes of a 6-year-old. Like, I guess you're right. Like, what they're just seeing the pretty colors and like it's funny because they're making funny faces and they're like whatever. And then when they get, because that's the perfect family movie or whatever, is that you can enjoy it at any, like Monsters Inc. I could watch that today and it'd still be entertaining and like whatever. But also it's a kids,
exactly.
It's for children. But I mean like I was saying before, like how many people like that joke about like Ken's start watching The Godfather and like they've only known about it for 2 seconds. And he's like, you've never seen The Godfather? And then she's like, oh my God, talk over it while you explain everything. Like, that's a hilarious joke that, like, obviously a 6-year-old would not appreciate. Yeah. But maybe that's just
that's the thing. Like, I don't think a 6-year-old's going to see Barbie and she comes back and she's like, well, I don't know about all that feminism stuff. I don't know. You know, that's not going to happen.
At the very most, they're going to be like, girl power. Or they're going to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're too young to, like, really
which is fine.
Pick up on it for sure.
Yeah. But it means they'll be coming back to it.
Exactly.
For a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like, for people our age, that's going to be a cultural piece for a long, long time. Like, it's like they're going to do a remake someday. It's a whole thing. I mean, there's already a sequel greenlit. Yeah. Which I don't know if they need exactly, but I'm going to see.
Well, I've been telling you, I don't think it would have worked if they didn't really go in on Mattel. Like, Mattel had to like swallow their pride and be like, all right, like you gotta take some jabs at us, like if we're gonna make this, because if they didn't do that, people would say, oh well, this is fake. Like this, if you're making this movie, but you're not really committing to it that much.
I would say they even took more shots than were necessary.
A little bit.
They needed maybe like 2 jokes that were like, haha, it's a big company with men. They like really laid into them, and it's funny. It works.
And they got Will Ferrell as like the goofy CEO.
Shame on you, executive number 2.
Yeah, like I liked a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Should we talk about the best song of the summer?
I'm just Ken. That's a great song. Yeah, I really love that.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
That is the song of the summer.
So as incredible as that is with Barbie becoming that successful, not as successful, but in my opinion, more surprising, Oppenheimer, which is a period piece, a 3-hour movie about physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project. Like the science and politics behind that becoming a blockbuster sensation for like not all ages, but like that's more impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think. I obviously was propelled by Barbie. But the fact that it's a very long movie about, the atomic bomb and people are really excited to see that. I thought that was cool. Yeah. And I thought the movie was really great. I thought every like 5 minutes I was like, oh my God, that person's in this. Yeah. Oh my, and I thought it was, like I've said with Cillian Murphy, is like a tour de force. I know.
He's fantastic.
He really killed it.
Like really,
and Robert Downey Jr. killed it too, I thought.
I'd be pretty happy with an RDJ supporting actor.
Yeah, me too. That'd be cool.
This is exactly what we were talking about with the Oscars episode.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Robert Downey Jr. is going to have one of those things that's like, it's his year.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone's going to be bringing up Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Ke Huy Quan last year.
Yeah. What other like smaller movie, The Due Date. You ever see that with Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah,
People are
I've
going to
seen
be
that.
coming out of the woodwork with like his whole career
Yeah,
and all these
exactly.
like slept-on movies,
Yeah.
and it's going to be his year, and he's going to win.
That's what always
supporting.
happens. They always eat up a comeback or
Yeah.
it's their year
Yeah.
narrative.
Yeah.
It's always
like
that.
Jamie Lee Curtis. She plays like an IRS agent
Yeah,
that like
she
has
was
a
like
kung
barely in the movie.
she's like almost a cameo, and because it was just
Yeah.
like people like these types of actors that are like they've been around forever and
Well,
they're
even
just
she,
likable.
yeah, even she was shocked. She's like,
Yeah.
what? It's like, well, it's a
Yeah.
legacy thing sometimes.
Yeah,
That's how it's gonna be.
Whatever. The only difference here is I'm happy that it's going to
Yeah.
a good because
Me too.
this is I mean it's probably Robert Downey Jr.'s best performance.
Yeah, I
ever.
agree.
I'm hard pressed to think
Yeah,
of like.
I don't
someone
know
else
if like
that's,
Iron Man is.
Yeah, he's. I mean,
Okay.
you know, Iron Man's a good
Yeah,
movie. I mean, it became like a TV show that
does-
he was on basically.
yeah, it does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say this is his best
Yeah.
performance.
He also tones down his Robert Downey Jr. isms a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you can see it in parts, like when he says we didn't get the vote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
acting like himself, but like for the most part, he's not really playing himself. He's
Yeah,
the
I agree.
character. But I love that grin that he has at the end for the cameras.
hmm Yeah, I like
Um,
that too.
It's a really like kind of in a way Citizen Kane-y ending,
Right.
in my opinion. Not to get all film major,
Nah.
but like if Louis Strauss and Alden Ehrenreich's characters are the report. Have you seen Citizen Kane?
yeah.
You know how like the B plot. I guess it's not the B plot, but like the other story within the movie is the reporter interviewing everyone that
Yeah.
Kane knew. That's kind of what Louis Strauss is. He's the vehicle for knowing about Oppenheimer's past.
Yeah.
And so like that last scene where he's like, they might be talking about something bigger than you, or what is he? He's like, they might have been talking about something more
Yeah.
important.
Mhm.
That's like when they said we might not ever know what
Yeah.
a final word of someone like Rosebud is not gonna
Yeah.
surprise. And then we flash back to Rosebud getting burnt in the fire in Kane, and then in this the conversation that they have that both like are lost to time and no one really knows about.
Yeah.
Which
I
I
mean,
thought was interesting.
Intentional or unintentional with that, I like the fact that both Barbie and Oppenheimer had callbacks to some classic movies
Yeah,
with Citizen
yeah.
Kane and then
Absolutely.
2001,
Yeah.
which I thought was really cool. It's there's a 2001 reference in Barbie, and it's kind of wild.
And it's
but
a good one too. Like
Yeah.
it's very funny.
yeah, it's apt,
Yeah.
you could say.
Yeah. I wish they didn't make that the apt. I wish they didn't make that the teaser trailer because it kind of
Yeah.
like spoiled.
I know that would have been really cool to
Definitely, yeah.
see.
Yeah. That was the first inkling that I had that I was like, who is this movie
Yeah.
for? It's probably gonna be good, but like
Yeah.
I don't.
I have a question for you actually that I've been like, I was thinking about this and I'm really curious what your opinion is. So, not just Oppenheimer, like any like biopic or like history movie, do you think like it could be spoiled? Like, do you think like if someone's talking about the movie and someone goes like, oh no, like I haven't seen it, don't spoil it. Could that be spoiled because it's history, like it's already happened? You think so?
It depends. Like to spoil a movie, like if you spoil The Departed, it means saying like what goes down.
Yeah.
Basically, like at the end of like plot wise what happens. So like in Oppenheimer, I don't think you can spoil that. Like you can't say like they did it, they made the bomb, but you can spoil the like the whole thing. I believe we did like that part of it. You could spoil that, I think.
Yeah.
Like if someone told me like what that because the whole movie they're setting it up like amazingly, like 2, 3, 4 times they say like this. They mention the chain reaction thing that could blow up the world, and the payoff to that is like one of the best final lines of a movie of the summer, so far, or of the year.
Yeah.
Is when he says, "I believe we did," and it hits you. It hits you. The music, the editing, like how the stories progress, like in like super Nolan fashion, where we come back to a scene for the 4th time and it means something different again. If someone spoiled that, it would like totally pull out the rug from under me.
Yeah.
So you could definitely spoil it.
So what you're saying is content isn't the only thing that can be spoiled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think my argument for why like it can be spoiled is that not everyone is a massive history buff. Like, did a lot of people really know about J. Robert Oppenheimer before watching this movie? And also,
I had no idea that he got like
a perfect
doxed,
example.
or not doxed, or whatever.
I didn't see the Robert Downey Jr. his like I didn't know he was gonna like be like the guy behind everything, like kind of like going against Oppenheimer.
that would have been
like I had no
that's a massive
idea.
spoiler.
And that's the thing, like it can be spoiled because not everyone. I don't think a lot of people know about like certain unless you're like historian going to see this. I can understand, but and plus the movie's less about the Manhattan Project and more about Oppenheimer himself. I felt like in his personal life or whatever.
As like a billion different behind the scenes like interviews will tell you, it was written in the first person. Like, you saw that, which is interesting. But me or him?
I've also been thinking like, kind of behind the whole like, movies and big movies in general. There's been kind of this like dying of like Marvel and like superhero movies in general, like especially.
How long could it have lasted, really?
Yeah. I think the same thing. I think like because that's the thing, like some of these big movies, Infinity War, whatever, like they were the biggest movies in the theater ever. People are cheering and applauding, and I think there's becoming this switch of like the only big movies that can be blockbusters aren't. It's not just superhero movies anymore. It could be a 3-hour war drama, or it could be a movie about a Barbie doll. You know what I mean? So I think that's a little bit interesting.
Well, let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, not a flop, but I thought it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No, I liked it. It was entertaining to me.
I didn't like.
I thought it was entertaining.
The Ant-Man 3, which that was a flop.
Yeah, that
wasn't
like
that. The Flash, which I think it did all right at the box office, but like.
I know it lost a lot. Like it was like one of the biggest losses of money for like a comic book.
Yeah, 268 million.
And that's the thing. I think some of these people in Hollywood are starting to realize that, and you have Tom Cruise coming out and saying, "The Flash is the greatest superhero movie of all time," and then it just it like loses like hundreds of millions of dollars.
He said that. I don't. What could
because
that mean?
they probably said like, "Hey, like we need a big star to really like give our movie a push because we know like Ezra Miller is doing like." He's up to like menacing, like menace tactics in Hawaii, whatever he's doing. He's doing crazy stuff, and it was surprising they still had him in the movie. But yeah, like completely flopped. Yeah. Ant-Man was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't even. The only things I've seen of Ant-Man are like truly atrocious.
Yeah, some of these like big blockbusters that have been coming out where they typically do really well are just like no one wants to see another Fast and Furious movie. No one wants to see another Transformers.
The Fast movies are such a cult. It's like bonkers.
Really? I feel like the average person who's like
grounded
in reality doesn't want to see the Fast.
That's like, oh yeah, Fast 11. Here we go.
Yeah, it's
a 3-parter.
Yeah,
it's a 3-parter.
I don't get it.
Yeah. The Shazam sequel. Yeah. Nobody liked that.
No. And then there's like Blue Beetle coming out. Like I don't think anyone's seeing that. I mean,
I'm not.
That looks terrible. I mean, not to be negative or whatever, but
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I know it's Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle. How far back? I mean, if Marvel can't even, I almost said Marist. If Marvel can't even like get it together for like to knock them out of the park anymore, like how is DC supposed to? Even,
I think the workers at DC are working day and night. Like what ideas can we come up with? Because Marvel's always like had them like hanging DC upside down, like shaking them for their lunch money.
There was kind of a point that Marvel could like do no wrong. Like they would have a couple movies that like were like meh, but like the worst Avengers movie is the second one, and even that like it made like it made God like a God level of money, and it's everyone saw it. So
if like around the time, especially it was like a big period where the Avengers were coming out. You're wrong; they could do no wrong. If they had released an Avengers movie where like they were just like all the Avengers were just painting a house, like people, it would gross $1 billion. Like, you know what I mean? But you're right. Yeah. They were invincible at a point, and DC was like, they were really trying, and a Justice League was terrible, and
it has to be so depressing to like be.
I know. Well, because you're supposed to be like the main competitor, and you're getting like completely destroyed.
It's like it's like if Pepsi and Coke were like working together. It's like everyone was drinking Coke like with all these new flavors, and Pepsi was like they couldn't even make the cans. It's like if all their cans were exploding or something.
Yeah, it's a little
like
brutal.
some of their cans were terrorizing Hawaiian families.
Yeah. Well, I think it got to a point with DC where I think they were just like it's not like they were running out of ideas, but they were just saying like there's nothing we can do to keep up.
Yeah.
Like we are trying everything we possibly can, and it's not working.
Yeah. What was like some of their movies that like did well? Let me
Well, like
figure this
didn't
out.
Wonder Woman the first one? Because I know the
Yeah.
second one like wasn't
People
the
liked it.
greatest.
People liked it.
I know Justice League wasn't good.
No. I mean, they have the Nolan movie. Oh, the Batman.
Oh yeah,
People
okay.
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
That
people
did
love
well.
that. Yeah. What about like Man of Steel?
Man of Steel.
Oh, they're Batman versus Superman.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I remember watching Man of Steel and I was like, this is, and I don't know, I was 12. I remember having the thought of like, this is mid. I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think this.
You
is
know
good.
your movie is
Yeah.
not great when like a child is coming out like that movie was
Yeah.
terrible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You can't.
What
have
were we talking about that I? Oh, it was the third Star Wars sequel, like
Yeah.
the one where Daisy Ridley's like, I'm Rey Skywalker. I remember leaving
Yeah.
like, ew. I was like, that was terrible.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
There's Aquaman too.
Aquaman. I went into Aquaman. Here's how bad Aquaman was. I saw Welcome to Morrowind with my dad for Christmas, which is the one where Steve Carell. You remember
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah,
Steve Carell is like transported into a world with action figures that he
Yeah.
decorates or whatever. We saw that movie and we're like, well, my mom's still in her movie, whatever she was. I think she saw The Mule with Clint Eastwood.
Oh, okay.
I honestly couldn't tell you why I saw Welcome to Morrowind instead of
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood's new movie. So we walked into Aquaman, and it was so bad that even not paying for it, we were like, we can't. I won't even watch this.
You left the theater.
Like like we would rather just like sit and watch the wall and wait for the other movie to be over than sit through Aquaman.
Jeez.
That's how bad I.
Well, also there were the like absolutely like box office like amazing movies, Suicide Squad and Black Adam, which were just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing, just groundbreaking. But no, they were terrible. They were both terrible. They were both not good.
Did you
not good
see
at all.
Black Adam?
I think I saw it like right when it came out, but I was just like that was
Yeah.
awful.
I can't believe I went to the movie theater to see Black Adam.
Yeah, that was
That's
terrible.
actually wild that I watched that movie.
And Suicide Squad was awful. The second one was actually like decent.
I thought
like
it was
the
okay.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
it was
alright.
okay, but the first one was like beyond terrible.
I don't think James Gunn deserves the credit that he gets, in my opinion. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are fun. I think the first one was pretty good. I liked the second one a lot. I wasn't a fan of the third one. And then he did the Suicide Squad sequel. I mean, maybe it's just me, but like the amount of press that he gets, like how the way everyone looks at him would make me think that he's like a Christopher Nolan type.
Yeah.
Like he has an amazing filmography and like is like a premier
I
director.
don't really
he's,
get it either.
Like he's made a few like superhero movies. I mean, what the Belko Experiment? Like who likes that movie?
Yeah, I don't. Well, and then isn't he making another Superman movie?
I think so. I
Because
think
there
he's
was I
making
can't
one
remember
with
who it
Nicolas
was that was.
Cage.
Yeah, there was one that was. There was another Superman that was casted, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name though.
Henry Cavill's out.
Yeah.
Like he's.
I can't remember his name, but there was another one that was another guy that was casted as Superman.
Let me see if I can find it. Upcoming Peacemaker TV show.
haven't
Yeah,
seen
Superman Legacy is what it's called, and it's follows the titular superhero as he reconciles his heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way that views kindness as old-fashioned.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to make a. Oh, it's David Cornsweet. Cornsweet. I don't know. He was in Pearl.
Yeah, I mean, outside
I don't know anything.
of the Guardians movies, which I wouldn't exactly call like absolutely amazing out of this world.
Yeah, I mean,
He's made some kind of goofy movies. Like,
Yeah.
Nothing I would call like amazing or anything, you know.
Like that movie where Rainn Wilson's a superhero.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Me neither. Yeah, never heard of any of these. Something called The Specials. He wrote the screenplay for the Scooby-Doo movie that was live action. Hold on, these are his credits as
Imagine,
writer.
like,
Let's see his directing credits.
Yeah. No hate to James Gunn, but imagine being a grown man like writing the script of the Scooby-Doo movie. You know?
Like, man,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so like a whole bunch of shorts. He did that Slither, like it was like a gore horror movie, which I never saw, but it's like a cult movie that some people like. Not
I
great.
haven't seen a crazy amount of his movies.
Some TV series about a human that becomes a chimpanzee. A superhero movie that's like a comedy. Movie 43, which is
That's like people argue that's the worst movie of all time.
yeah. Then the Guardians franchise. I mean, really, his like big movies are the Guardians franchise and the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah,
That's about it. The other one is his directorial debut and a like really small movie he made. I mean, that's it. But I see his face everywhere. It's like he's gonna change the comic book. Like
yeah, I don't
he's
get
made
it either.
he's made like I don't know.
No, I completely agree with you. I don't really
Yeah.
get the hype either. But whatever. The Guardians movies have all made, beaucoup bucks.
I mean,
so
yeah, I guess that's true. He can make.
he's made a lot of money.
He's made a lot of money. It's true.
It kind of what I've been thinking about is recently is, there's been a lot of these big blockbusters. Like especially last year, Top Gun was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer, Barbie. But then like on the flip side, you have like Indiana Jones, which is like totally flopping, and The Flash, which didn't do well, and some of these other like Transformers, whatever. So, what do you think? Like, why do you think Indiana Jones and these other movies that are either getting a remake or revival, or they're just making another movie? Why are some doing better than others?
I mean, I don't know. I have to see it, obviously. But, I mean, I think it's just quality, and I don't know. I mean, I was already, like, the second they announced a fifth one, I was nervous because of how Crystal Skull turned out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that wasn't good.
It wasn't good at all. That's another movie that I was 7 years old, or, no, it came out in 2012.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like 9 or 10, and I was like, that is a
Like,
massive
that is
disappointment.
Terrible.
I literally, like, at 9 years old, I was like, that is massively disappointing. This
Yeah.
is not a good movie. So, I don't, maybe, similar to what I think about Star Wars, I think some franchises just need to stay where they are. Like Transformers, for example. I feel like Transformers can move, like, it's robots, like, it's not that hard. The aesthetic of it, so you can move it forward. Star Wars, the type of humor and like just the storytelling is started in the 70s and then was in the 80s. So I feel like moving it throughout time is like, I don't know if it translates super well, and that's why the humor in like the old ones is so different from like how they are now. Like because the new like Star Wars sequels tried to make the humor similar to like a Marvel movie. Like they had one-liners and like they would say like funny. It would be like improvisational type comedy, but it was obviously rehearsed and stuff like that. And because like because they were reacting to how popular Marvel movies are. But it's like they should just stick to what like it changes the like how it is. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think a lot of it's about like understanding what series it is or what these movies are like. Obviously, a big part of it is who you're getting to be the head of your movie, who's directing it and who's producing whatever. But I think like if you take Star Wars and like Transformers, for example, Star Wars is heralded as like one of the best like series of movies ever.
Yeah.
So it's like every movie, it's all about expectations. Every movie is supposed to be amazing and like really handled with care and like really taken seriously, whereas Transformers, if they make a great movie, it's like, oh wow, they made a great Transformers movie. You know what I mean? There's like no one would ever ask, oh, what series is better, Transformers or Star Wars? You know what I mean? Like, so it's really with I feel like even with I think a lot of the Transformers, like they're just maybe being a little bit lazier, kind of in the sense, because Star Wars it kind of seems like they're trying and just like failing. Yeah. With Transformers, it's like, well, let's just like let's keep beating this dead horse for money. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know they're not really necessarily trying to make quality, amazing movies. They're just trying to make money. You know?
Yeah. Working at a theater changes like it makes you really think about what audiences are seeing what movies. Like I'd walk into a theater that just got out of Asteroid City, and it would be like spotless, Like there'd be no popcorn anywhere because everyone watching the movie is like, the mise en scène. Like
Yeah.
they'd be like, this is Wes Anderson, one of his best, and they'd be like, oh, the color is really, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'd go into Transformers and there'd be like cheese on the walls and popcorn everywhere because the people going to see it is like, oh my god, it's a robot, and they'd be like throwing stuff.
And no
everywhere,
shots
and
to any Transformers lovers, right? Well, maybe a few. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy what you want to enjoy, but I did notice that over time. Like, what else came out that was like, Oppenheimer was weird because it was like people were going to see it that like enjoy movies and like are thinking about but also it was a blockbuster, so like like lots of people
exactly.
saw it. So, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I did notice that about like who like Fast X was filthy. Like there was like the people going to see Fast and the Furious 10 left the theater in like disarray.
Yeah. Well, it's like those guys at like a little league baseball game.
Yeah.
They got like a Bud Light and they're like doing this and they got a dirty wife beater on and they're like, yeah, like and they're going those are the type, like you wouldn't see a guy come in with like a beret and like like artsy glasses on and say 1 ticket to Fast X, please. You know what I mean? Like he's going to see like Oppenheimer or Asteroid City or something like that. You know?
He's seeing Bella's Afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What else were some flops this year? Elemental might be the worst Pixar movie I've ever seen. Oh yeah,
I never saw that, but I heard a lot about it.
I never.
What was it about really?
It's water guy and fire girl, and they live in the city of elements, and they're in love, but they can't be together because he's made of water and she's made out of fire.
It's so crazy thinking like Pete Docter and some of those guys they just sit down. They're like, okay, what story can we create that's a little bit different, but like kids would enjoy? And so that's also just now they're thinking, elements. There's I think it's a little bit hard to do, but also it's like. There's so many. I think it's easier to make that type of movie because kids. I'm not saying like kids are. They're just like they're more impressionable and like more things will go over their head and they'll like grasp onto things more. So I think it's easier to make a movie that's more geared towards children that they would enjoy, rather than something that like a 20-year-old is gonna go see. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's easier to make like the premise of a movie when kids are going to see it. It's easier to build around a kid watching your movie than anything else. Yeah. And some of these movies, like Elemental, had a $200 million budget. To put that into perspective, Oppenheimer had a $100 million budget or something like that.
Is that really true?
I'm pretty sure. Wait,
animation's pricey. Save all the money on VF and special effects. Yeah, CGI.
Let me look. Yeah, Oppenheimer. If you Google it, who knows how reliable Google is, but it says the budget's $100 million and Elemental's $200 million. So, I mean, that's pretty insane.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. It was garbage. I mean, kids liked it. Again, like maybe I'm biased because it was the bane of my existence for like the time that it was out. But it'd be like every time that it's over, it'd be like, it was. I can't express the mess that people left. Like I'd like see like which was the next theater, and I see it's Elemental, and it's like in a huge theater. I'm like, oh my god.
Because, because it's all the children going to see.
Yeah, all the kids. They like buy this stupid kids pack, and they literally. I don't know what their plan is. Do the kids like grab it and they're like, yeah, and they like. I guess the second they see it, they know they're gonna throw that at the screen because I get in there and like they didn't even eat the thing that they can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's whatever, but yeah, most major, if not all major, theater releases this summer I saw some parts of. Like the biggest one, so Barbie, Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, Oppenheimer, Guardians, Asteroid City, Mission Impossible, and I think that's it. Those are the ones that like I actually like watched, like I bought a ticket and saw. Everything else that was in theaters at least at like Regal theaters, I watched some piece of. And Elemental looked like one of the worst ones. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can't tell if I'm getting older or if Pixar has like fell off a lot because I remember them being like watching them and thinking like these are great, but like I'm not kidding. Like legitimately, there's a part in Elemental where the water dude confesses his love for Fire Lady,
Mm-hmm.
and he walks in, and the whole movie he's been like lying to the dad, saying that he's a food inspector. And he walks in to like their like house, and he says, "I love you, Ember." Or Amber, Ember. And the dad is like this big fat fire guy, and he goes, "What kind of food inspection is this?" And he gets cut off by water guy, and Wade, the water fella, says, "A food inspection of the heart, sir."
No, that didn't happen. Yeah. I refuse to.
I had to listen to that. I had to watch that scene
way.
maybe 40 times this summer.
What's the thing? Because it's like, I feel like there were so many classic Pixar movies when we were growing up. Like, you're not like, what was there, like Cars and like
Finding Nemo.
Yeah, like WALL-E is up there.
I'd watch The Incredibles right now.
Yeah, Incredibles. Like, you're really not Toy Story. Like, you're not topping some of these. Like, and you know, it's hard, but you gotta find a way to make money somehow.
That's a studio. If Marvel was ever like they can't miss, Pixar was that and more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Marvel had a couple that were bad. There was a while that literally every single Pixar movie in a row, like it was probably like 8 movies in a row, every one of them was a banger.
Yeah, they were all heat. Like,
each and every one of them was incredible.
I
like,
know.
I
Even
mean,
as a kid, I was like, man, like that was really good.
Let me look up Pixar. Like I'll tell you when we get to the first one that's like not a good movie. This is great radio. All this Toy Story banger, Bugs Life banger, Toy Story 2 banger, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Cars 2. Cars 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 movies deep is when they hit their first like loss.
Yeah, I know.
And it was in 2010, so it was 15 years after they got started. You could argue Cars isn't amazing, but I mean it's not a loss.
No, it's still a classic.
So
like Cars is Cars. You know? It's a classic movie.
Yeah. Cars 2 is about when it went all south, though. To be fair, like
Yeah,
Cars
what's
2,
after
then
that?
Brave, which is mid.
Yeah.
Like it was okay. Monsters University, which is like whose idea was like, what if we made them go to college? What if we showed them in college?
Can you imagine they're all just sitting in like the writer's room and one guy's like, college, and they're like, you are you need a raise.
What if they like went to Kappa U? You know what I mean? What if they went to?
Like we could have never thought of that.
What if we had them go to Alabama? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. Then Inside Out, which was I think it's a good one.
Yeah,
like, I think
that's a good one. I like the premise there. That was
people like that. The Good Dinosaur, which was like bad.
Yeah,
I would arguably like
that
not
was just
a good
miss.
movie.
That's just a miss.
Yeah, that was a miss. Finding Dory, which is like an obligatory sequel. Cars 3, which I didn't see. And then after that, there's like some good ones again. Like Coco was good. Yeah. Coco was good. Soul was good. Did you see Soul?
I never saw Soul.
It was actually like pretty like there's parts of it that were like a lot deeper than the average Pixar movie, but the majority of it was just like a fun.
What about like
cartoon.
Moana? Is that a Pixar movie?
No, that's Disney.
Oh, it is?
That was about when Disney started doing their own CG animation, so they didn't have to like outsource to Pixar, even though they owned it.
Right.
Same deal with Frozen.
Oh, okay.
And then I haven't seen the last Pixar movie other than Elemental I saw was Onward, which was 3 years ago.
I never saw that either.
Mid. It's Tom Holland, who I don't like, and Chris Pratt, who I do like.
Do you like Tom Holland as Spider-Man?
No.
Really? Who's your favorite, like, out of the 3?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, me too. That's crazy that we agree on that. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Which is wild because I, like, more grew up with Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is not a bad Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire is a better Peter Parker, and Andrew Garfield's a better Spider-Man, in my opinion.
Yeah. Everyone talks about it. Andrew Garfield is too cool to be. He skateboards and does photography, and he's like supposed to be he's supposed to be a loser.
Well, they didn't make him a loser. They made him like an outcast, which was like
I'm like, this guy would be the most popular guy in high school.
Yeah,
like I don't know what they're doing.
Like cool. First of all, he looks like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's also 6'2", and he can dunk a basketball. I don't know.
But I
don't know if I can say this, but like he kind of has a black son in the movie.
Who?
Andrew Garfield. Like when he's Spider-Man, he's like, I remember or I didn't think this at the time, but like recently I was like, what's he doing with his voice? He was like,
Well, yeah, I think you got to think about it this way. Andrew Garfield is like British, so he's like, it's a British guy trying to do a New York accent.
Yeah, I get it.
You know
Maybe
what I mean?
that's what it was.
And then I just thought, I think the three of them, I think Tobey Maguire was a little too like stiff almost. Like he wasn't
good as Spider-Man. He was
cool
perfect
enough,
as
like,
Peter Parker. He was like such a nerd and he was like goofy. But yeah, Spider-Man, he was like, be safe, kids.
Andrew Garfield was too cool as Peter Parker, and I think Tom Holland's like a little too like, I think he's like trying too hard in a way, like a little bit. Like something about it's just like he's just like, I don't like him as either. He's just like a little bit trying too hard.
It's so like when he's pretending to be a nerd, he's like, oh boy, he's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like I really don't like him as an actor.
He also like wouldn't be a nerd. Like I don't know, like, they're casting these like good-looking guys to be nerds. Like I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. What movies has Tom Holland? Because I've seen a good amount of his.
This is about to be your Jacob Elordi moment.
Yeah. let me rant. He's a. I would say he's like a pretty good celebrity. Like he's very.
If you Google him, it says some publications have called him one of the most popular actors of his generation. So.
I guess that's kind of true.
Plus he's like dating Zendaya. So.
Yeah. Zendaya, I'm a huge fan of. I think she's fantastic.
She's good in Euphoria.
I never saw The Impossible, which was like his first movie.
Oh, was that with like the tsunami movie? Which one was the one?
Yeah, that's it. The Lost City of Z, didn't see it. The current
I know Chaos Walking was terrible.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
And Uncharted was.
He was in this cartoon with Will Smith where he turns into a pigeon or something. He was in that cartoon from Pixar. He was in a movie that I liked called The Devil All the Time. Did you see that from Netflix?
No, with Robert Pattinson. I never saw that.
It was a good movie, and he might be the worst part of it.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was when I first started like thinking like I really don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of a book, and so like the writing from the book is like really excellent. The way the story turns is really interesting. I like how the plot moves. The characters are cool. It's well directed. The part that I dislike the most about it is Tom Holland. Like he's so stiff in all of his movies. He's like his choices are way too specific. He has no nuance to any of his characters. He sounds weird in most of his movies.
Because he's like American, pretty much all of his movies.
Yeah. That Uncharted movie was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was a terrible movie.
He's in this like recent series called The Crowded Room. Yeah. With Amanda Seyfried.
The one where
he has like a really goofy haircut. He has like long hair, and I heard that was terrible.
Yeah. Nobody liked that Cherry movie that came out.
Yeah.
He was in Dr. Dolittle with Robert Downey Jr. where he plays Jip, which is a pigeon, a duck. I don't know. And then Spider-Man, which is like, he's not acting. He's just like running around. He like says something funny. He's like, "Oh boy, Mr. Stark." That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, I know.
I would consider him in like the whole of film history. I would liken him to like a lesser Michael J. Fox. That's how I see him.
Fair.
Like Michael J. Fox was like.
I can see that.
He was. It wasn't like a real like acting job. Like it wasn't like Back to the Future is like a fine franchise. I really like the movies, but it's not like he has amazing acting skills in that movie.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
like he's good. He's like he does what the movie like needs of him.
Yeah.
And then like his whole career is like stuff like that where he was just a huge. I mean, they're similar in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Like they're both
You're
like
just a blockbuster guy.
Yeah, he's a blockbuster, which is fine. But I think Michael J. Fox is like was and is just like a more talented.
Well, that's the thing. Like
guy.
Some of these guys, that's why I'm so happy about Robert Downey Jr. with this Oppenheimer, because it's like he's proving he can act. Like,
yes.
You can act. Tom Holland, his movies that are outside of Spider-Man, which he's not even really that good in Spider-Man. Yeah. Outside of that are also terrible. Robert Downey Jr. has proven like he can act really well. Yeah. Like he's a good actor.
Yeah. I mean, he's proved that before. It's just nice to see him come back.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you ever see Chaplin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's already Oscar nominated. And yeah, I wish Tom Cruise would go back to doing something like Magnolia or.
But that's the thing. He said he's gonna do Mission Impossible till he's 80.
Yeah.
Which will be looking the same at 80.
I'd love to see him jump out of an airplane at 80 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
He's probably gonna look fine.
No, he'll be in space by then, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I wonder if he had maybe won something for like Jerry Maguire or like maybe Magnolia. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't be doing as much action anymore either. Like maybe he's just like, they hate me. Like I'm just gonna do action movies. Maybe he'd still be doing like some drama type stuff.
Maybe. Hopefully. Last time I checked his like upcoming movies, like none of them were anything that was like other than an action.
Because some actors are just like totally like, they just don't get any looks. They're like blackballed. Like Jake Gyllenhaal's a good one. Like he never gets any.
Yeah. It's just like weird how it.
Amy Adams too. Like they never like, I don't know.
Yeah. The as an actor, his next 3 upcoming movies are Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2, Tom Cruise SpaceX project, which I'm gonna guess is him flying a car into space.
Some action.
And then Live, Die, Repeat.
Which is the Emily Blunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it?
Edge
of Tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm sure all 3. Yeah. Isn't that the one that like they changed the title like after it came out or something?
Well, I think isn't it called Edge of Tomorrow? That movie was good. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying any of these are gonna be bad. It's just like I'd like to see him do something that's more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
don't know. But like, when was the last time that he did something that was like a real acting job?
I don't know.
I guess Valkyrie from 2008.
Yeah, but that was 15 years ago.
So there you go. You ever see Rock of Ages?
I never saw that.
it's one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. He plays a rock star, and it's actually like he plays it really, really similar to Ken.
Oh, really?
He's basically he's
just like goofy.
He's just like dumb. He has like a vest on the whole time that's just like there's nothing underneath, and it's just like so over the top.
Jeez.
I could find a clip of it probably, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I really like he's really good at Minority Report, and that's
I love that movie. That's a great movie. That's a really underrated Spielberg.
I agree. That's like the last. He did Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report in the same year.
That's crazy. Yeah. Both those movies are really underrated in my opinion.
I could talk about Tom. We could do if we did an episode on Steven Spielberg. I could talk 4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours. Magnolia. He's great in Eyes Wide Shut. Jerry Maguire. I've never seen The Firm.
Oh, I saw that. I saw it a while ago though. He was pretty good in that.
You ever see Far and Away? The one where he's Irish.
No, I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. Is that another one?
Him and Nicole Kidman are Irish immigrants that come to America for land. It's like one of the dumbest movies.
I feel like him and Nicole Kidman have always done like really goofy, like out there movies.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Well, that was when they were like either
together?
dating or married.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember which. But yeah. Yeah, Tom Cruise is kind of the man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. I kind of want to talk about the writer's strike a little bit. You want to talk about that?
Sure.
Just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so obviously it happens all the time. There's another writer's strike where writers are like, hey, like we're not getting paid enough. We need more money, which I think some people just don't understand the fact that most writers don't get paid a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard something which was crazy, and I think I told you this before, that the show She-Hulk, I haven't seen it, but apparently like people were agreeing objectively the best episode of the series. The writer of the episode only got paid like a couple $100 or something like that to write that episode.
That is
for
crazy.
Like the best episode of She-Hulk or something like that. So I can understand like these writers are like, hey, like we need to get paid more. Like unless you're writing on like a really, really like one of the biggest shows or like some of the biggest movies, you're not getting paid. And then the actors obviously are on strike too, which means there's no press or anything like that, and a lot of things are getting delayed, which is a big thing. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. For someone that wants to be in the like in Hollywood, like in the film industry, and like I'm very interested in all that. I'm surprisingly not as interested in the writer's strike as most people are. I do think, I think my issue with it is how politicized it's got. Like, it's just become one of those issues that it's like, it makes me now roll my eyes when someone says I am in support of the writer. It's like, oh my god. It's like when someone mentions like, I don't know, just something. I don't want to get political about it, but like, it's just become one of those talking points that it's like I don't really want to hear about it because it's not really about movies. It's about like capitalism and stuff like that. It is entertaining to like hear stuff about it. Like, did you see that thing that NBC Universal, like, there was a picket line outside of their office and they had those trees that are there and they just cut the tops off awkwardly so that there wasn't any. But I mean, there's a writer's strike every. There's some kind of Hollywood strike every couple of like.
That's true.
2023, 2007, 2000, 1988, 1988, 1987, 86, 85, 81, 80, 78. I mean,
well, at least it's happening less and less.
Yeah, that's
over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was like every couple of years in the 80s.
I think my big thing about it was like the writers going on strike like made sense, and it was like very like a real thing where it's like, yeah, they really aren't getting paid enough money, especially for like being like some of the only people to work on some of these shows. But then you see some of these actors who they're like A-list, like blockbuster stars.
I was
just
going to bring this up.
They're like, we stand in solidarity.
Did we talk about Bryan
Cranston's
like
we do
thing?
No, we'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
But they're like, we stand in solidarity with. You got like some of the biggest actors in the world. Like, we are standing with you. Like, we are with you. We're outside striking with you. And it's like, it's kind of like this faux genuine. Like, it's just for like really appearances. Like, do you? I don't know if I really believe
it's
that like some of these A-list actors are like really like, yeah, we really support you, because it's like if the writers are striking, you have to. Like, if you're an actor, you know, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna. You're just gonna be like, no, that's just you. Like, you're just writing the movie.
That's just you.
You're just writing the movie. I'm starring in.
It's hard to tell. I don't want to say anything about it, like that's too too condemning of them, because I really don't know. But the way that it looks to me is like, because like, it could be. It makes more sense to me than like, for example, if these actors were like spreading the word about Ukraine. Because that's so not their
I agree.
thing. But like, this is like they are members of this union. Like, this is pertinent to them in some way. But at the same time, like, here's my issue with like big time actors anyway. Like when I see Bryan Cranston, like, did you see his speech?
No, yeah. What did he do? I don't.
It was so he's at the SAG-AFTRA strike. He's like on the podium or whatever. He's giving a speech and he's like, "We've got a message for Bob Iger. We're not gonna," and he's doing a monologue like Breaking Bad, and it's like, I guess that's the point. They're actors, and also like they're getting serious. But like, how do you expect me to take this seriously when all I know you from is make believe, is like pretending? Like, it's the same kind of thing. Like Matthew McConaughey, you know how he was like from Uvalde. So he was at the White House speaking about I don't doubt whatsoever that he like feels terrible about it, and it like matters a lot to him. But unfortunately for me, it's hard for me to take that seriously when he's an actor. Yeah. Compared to a different kind of artist, like if it was a musician or a comedian.
Well, and you can relate that to anything. When your profession is pretending to be someone you aren't, how like grounded within like who you actually are, like how does that translate to people who are working jobs that are real and their life is real? You know what I mean? That's not to say that these actors, their lives aren't real, but your livelihood is made off of pretending to do something that you're not. That's
so. It's
not
like when you do have a genuine moment, it's like, I'm not saying it isn't genuine, but it's like, how am I like? What am I supposed to?
Well, I'll say one thing in defense is that regardless of how popular you are as an actor, it must be incredibly hard to like really convey like how genuine you actually are. Like, you could be the most genuine person and just you're so real and you're humble and whatever. And on the flip side, you're an A-list actor. So just having that title attached to you, it just comes with like negative connotation. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying.
Which that can be hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But
Zach Galifianakis has a story about like he was saying this on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
He was talking about like it was the same. He was saying he was at his sister's wedding and he started crying because he was like overcome, and everyone was like dying laughing because it's Zach Galifianakis. Like obviously this is a bit, but it's not.
Yeah, that must be hard to deal with. Like a good example, if you're an A-list actor and you're going to a restaurant, you leave a massive tip. Are you leaving a massive tip because you're genuine, you're a great person, or people are gonna say this A-list actor came and left a terrible tip?
Yeah.
You know, so you never know. Like
that must be like tricky.
Yeah, it's hard to navigate, I bet.
Yeah.
But that's what you sign up for.
Yeah.
You know? You got to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it doesn't make me when I see stuff like Matthew McConaughey talking about the Uvalde shooting, it doesn't instantly make me go like, oh, he's fake, like he's faking. He doesn't. But it does. Like the expression I had was like that.
Yeah.
It was like because he's like talking about it. He's giving a thing. He's saying like, she was found with just her shoes and it was like he was giving a thing, and then he goes like he slams the table. I was like, how about that? How about? And it's like, that might have been a genuine reaction from him, but at the same time, it's like,
well, that's the thing, because
you're Academy Award winning actor Matthew McConaughey. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you see all these actors doing something genuine or what you may perceive as genuine, but there's always going to be a part of you that thinks like, is this a bit? Like, is this?
Yeah.
Are they are they putting on an act or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like I said, it's the nature of it, and there's always going to be, regardless of like how genuine you are, this like veil of like insincerity where it's like, are they like, is this real? Like, you know. But
yeah, I don't know. But like,
it is what it is.
I'll show you the clip later, or we could throw it up in the video, you know, on the screen.
Yeah.
But like it's Bryan Cranston. He's wearing the shirt and everything. He's doing Walter White. Like he's screaming and he's like, you can probably find it while I'm talking about this. But it's like he's like, we've got a message for Bob Iger, and he's like, and he says, we need everyone. We're trying to make a decent living. You won't do this to us. And it's like, you're worth $40 million, Bryan Cranston. I know you're, if anything, you're like doing this for the little guy, because the majority of SAG-AFTRA are like people that are like, they make their living. Yeah,
I'm gonna pull up that clip. Should I turn it around?
Like, does that not sound like Walter? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let me turn around.
Does it? Nah, it's whatever.
And yet, even though they admit that is the truth in today's economy, they are fighting us tooth and nail.
Does this not sound like Walter White, like a soliloquy from Breaking Bad?
That is outmoded, outdated.
So I don't know. It's like,
I am the one who defends the actors. The writers.
I don't know. Yeah, so it's stuff like that. In my opinion, most of the like SAG-AFTRA celebrities, some of them, maybe not most of them, I think a lot of it is like what we saw with COVID, where it was like, imagine there's no
I was gonna
heaven.
bring that up at some point. Yeah.
Your movie got shut down because of the strike. You're not working. You don't really, you're getting money from like residuals and all kinds of things, but you're not getting the attention that you need.
Yeah.
So true. I feel like Aaron Paul or Seth Rogen, I feel like a lot of these guys are like, I have to get my face out there.
You ever see, I have a crazy like obscure reference to something, but do you know Anthony Jeselnik? He's a comedian. Yes. On one of his like comedy albums, he does this bit like about like how there's a crazy tragedy that happens, and then like people will comment. Like they'll just go on Twitter or something and they'll be like, my thoughts and prayers out to the victims of like, it could be anything, like, oh, my thoughts and prayers out to the victims of like the Aurora or whatever, my thoughts and prayers to the victims of this. And he's saying like, you know, it's better to be, and he's like, I'll go on and like, because I'm a comedian, I'll like joke about it. Like I'll just joke about the tragedy. He's like, it's an insane, like he's like, as crazy and insane as it is for me to go on Twitter and joke about a tragedy, it's a million times more genuine to do that than go on and be like, my thoughts and prayers, because it's not like you actually care. You're just saying like, look at me, like I'm here today too. Like give me some attention, you know, whatever. Yeah. But it's true. Like, is it really because you care, you're genuine, or is it because like, oh, look at me though, like I'm also supporting, like I'm you know. But again, that's the thing. we never know because we
Yeah.
never know if they're genuine or what's the truth or what's not. Like you never really know what's going on.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It is really hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whack. I don't know. What else do we have on the docket? The agenda?
That was honestly pretty much it.
Word.
We kind of went through pretty much everything we had to go through.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but the screen. I have no idea when the Screen Actors, or when the strikes as a whole are gonna end. Because 3 months is
Well, I saw some news that
pretty
apparently
long.
they were starting to talk, they were starting to come to some agreements or something. So I don't think it'll last that too long.
Yeah, hopefully
Maybe
not.
a few months
Yeah.
more or something.
Yeah, as someone that has no attachment to anything other than being a person watching the movies and stuff like that, it is kind of it does make you nervous. So when you're how far is everything gonna get delayed? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. You don't care about the Little Mermaid being black, right?
No, I don't. I don't know why people care about that at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing. Have you seen any of this stuff with Snow White, the actress from Snow White?
Yeah.
She's calling the old movies trash.
I've seen critics. I've seen people complaining about it that I think are dumb, and I've seen people complaining about it that are yeah, that's true.
What, that they're terrible?
Her not being literally pale snow Irish white is dumb. People getting mad about that.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
I don't think she has to be Caucasian for this movie to get made. Her name's Snow White because.
Yeah, it's not about her skin color.
I don't. That's whack if you think that matters that much to this kids movie that she must be pure blood.
Yeah, no,
that's crazy. But the whole thing with the 7 dwarves being normal size, diverse. Isn't one of them in a wheelchair? That's how diverse the group is, that they're going through the meadow, and I think that's dumb. I think that's really
Instead
silly.
of changing one of their skin colors, we're gonna put one in a wheelchair.
Yeah, if you want to change the movie so that none of them are dwarves, and eventually if you change enough stuff about it, why are you making this movie? Just make something else. Go make another.
Well, a lot of people are saying that it's crazy because you wouldn't typically see this, but what's her name? Rachel
Ziegler? Yeah.
She basically her whole point was Snow White, her whole arc or whatever is she's falling in love or whatever and that's outdated, and what Snow White really needs to be doing is being a girl boss and being
then don't make
being
this
powerful,
movie.
whatever.
That's the plot of the.
And,
then don't make the movie.
And so people are saying
whatever.
People are saying a lot of people are saying that some women want different things. Not every woman wants to be a powerful girl boss, whatever. That's not to say that
girl.
Yeah, that's not to say that all women aren't strong or whatever, but some have different priorities or whatever. And people are coming out and saying, well, not every movie that comes out, a remake about a woman, needs to be about her being a powerful girl boss and taking over or whatever. There's different people, there's different stories or whatever. And I understand the climate we're in, where a lot of things come out and they're kind of centered around this one thing, but that's what you watch movies for or whatever, because there's differences in what's made,
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Barbie was starting to lose me when America Ferrera
I didn't
did
get
her
that.
mom.
Really.
She was it's literally impossible to be a woman. I was no.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was I'm sorry, but it's hard to be anybody. It's not.
That's true.
And then she was listing all these expectations, and I was I expect nothing. I was you do what you want to do. I honestly.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Because I guess that's just the general consensus around it. They're just well, if most people believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. They would have been remiss not to have that in the. Well,
exactly.
I guess my issue with it is that they did it via ranty, preachy monologue.
Yeah.
If they just had if they used the movie to show visually the difficulty, they probably would have swayed me. I probably would have agreed. But just saying it's impossible.
it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was the only part of the message of the anyone complain as soon as Ben Shapiro said that it's terrible, I was oh, this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Anyone complaining it's a woke feminist, I don't know. It kind of is, but I was I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think that like, I don't know, like some of these guys like Ben Shapiro are saying, oh, it's a woe is me fest, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I will agree the part with America Ferrera, like, I think if they didn't have that in there, I would have been like, oh, I'm kind of surprised they didn't have like a big monologue. And the fact they had it in there, I was like, that's not the greatest monologue. Like, I don't know, it could have been a little bit.
I'd put it firmly in the middle of the road. I would say it's not like a woke garbage fest, and I wouldn't say it's like an incredible.
Yeah. Well, because when people talk about the movie, I don't think less people are talking about that monologue. Mm-hmm. More people are talking about like just the a lot of the stuff that Margot Robbie's doing, as opposed to America Ferrera.
Is this her best performance?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Interesting. What would you put higher?
I gotta look at some of her movies again just to make sure.
It's like it's hard to say for me like that's her best.
Oh, probably I, Tonya.
She is good in that.
I'd probably take her in that over anything.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street's a good like supporting actress. Like she's just like a great.
Yeah. That Wolf of Wall. I think I'd take Wolf of Wall Street, I, Tonya, and then Barbie.
I would say that this is the movie she was like made for.
Yeah. Well, like they said, like Helen Mirren said, like, or what was it like? They were like, what exactly were they saying? And she's like, we literally have Margot Robbie starring in the movie. Like,
she's like, she was like, note to the filmmakers, like, don't cast Margot Robbie to, because that's that's such a funny bit because that's exactly what you're thinking when you're watching the movie. Because she's like, she took her makeup off, but she's still Margot Robbie. Like,
exactly.
She still has perfect bone structure and like. Yeah. Like just so like she was crying. She's like, I'm not pretty anymore. Yeah. And like
I know,
they took the words out of my mouth.
That's another thing with Mattel. I'm like, I'm shocked that they're like allowing them to do that. Yeah. And the whole stereotypical Barbie thing. I was like, wow.
Yeah. That I think that's how you can tell it's like good, like a good kind of humor. Like because it's pointing and laughing at men. Yeah. Like it's making fun of men, but it's funny and true enough that I was like on board with it. I wasn't like getting defensive about it.
Well, it wasn't over the top either.
Yeah. Like. It was, that was like the takeaway for me. I was like, this is a good movie about the differences between men and women without it becoming like a intro to gender like philosophy class that became like a like from Berkeley College. Like it's just like a good, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree.
Yeah. Did you see Asteroid City?
Yeah, I did. Did
you like it?
I thought it was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was one of his best movies, Wes Anderson. I'd say it was kind of in the middle for me.
Yeah, I liked it more than.
Well, the only thing about it, I kind of left thinking like, what was that even about really? Like, I didn't really. It didn't really have like a. Yeah. Like plot. I don't know.
It like a lot of people have been saying the same thing, and it leaves you feeling kind of empty. It's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of his movies kind of do that in some way where it's like that was really pretty and funny and like it was just like a well-made visual movie, but it's like in the end it's like what was the point? Compared to like Oppenheimer per se, like for example, when you leave that you're like really thinking about it and it definitely means something. But I put it like his. I'm looking at my list that I made after I saw it. I don't know what was going on. I did Grand Budapest, Asteroid City, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
You put it second?
I put it second.
No way.
I put it second. French Dispatch, Life Aquatic, Tenenbaums, Moonrise Kingdom, Rushmore, Isle of Dogs. Yeah, I gotta rechange my list. I put it over Fantastic Mr. I put it second.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, I was thinking like I didn't even what was that even like if that movie wasn't made and that's not it's not to say it like wasn't good, but I was saying nothing would change at all, like nothing like Oppenheimer and Barbie like just a massive cultural moment, just a huge thing. I was like if that like didn't exist, like I don't think there would be any differences.
Yeah, his movies just kind of like exist in a vacuum, like they don't change much.
Yeah.
But they're just highly enjoyable.
Well, I think a big part of his movie is like the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say like none of his movies have changed me as a person.
No.
Like I just enjoy them.
It's a lot about like the colors and the like his style and like what he wants to do, whatever. Yeah. I think his movies are more about him than about the movie at times. you know. Or
I'd kind of agree.
yeah, it depends. Like especially Asteroid City, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a movie like where you watch it and you're like, this is a Wes Anderson movie more than it's like a movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's just how his career has become.
Because like Oppenheimer, like you could watch Oppenheimer and not know it was directed by Christopher Nolan. And you could watch it. You like you would watch.
You definitely. I feel like you would say it seems like him.
You could watch it all the way through, like knowing it's a Christopher Nolan movie, and not like say like, that's just a movie that's just like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I just watched it. I'm like, that's just a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Like
he's just like so idiosyncratic.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he's probably the most easily to point out director by style.
But that's the thing.
ever.
I think it could be to his detriment at times. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Especially with this, I was like, people are really only watching this. I feel like, because it's a Wes Anderson movie. And then I remember I was talking to my dad because we saw it, and he left kind of saying the same thing. And he was like, I didn't really get the point. I remember saying something like, oh, it's just a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Like
He's not changing.
No.
He's not changing.
No, absolutely not.
Like, it is kind of crazy. Like, you think, like, don't you want to change it? Like, have like, a camera on a tilt. Or, like, have a camera, like...
It was, there were parts of it where I'm like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I know, and he never changes his camera work, anything.
It's a cool style. Like...
No, it is.
That, like, to be an artist or, like, a director or someone that makes art of some kind, one of the best things that you can get is, like, people to say, oh, that's Wes Anderson style. Like, that's what you work for, but... That's true. At the same time, it's going to hold you in a prison.
I know. So, you're, like, typecast as a director.
Yeah. When he was, like... I mean, did you see that interview? Like, when Asteroid City came out, they were like, are you going to change? He's like, I'm not changing. Yeah. He was like, I refuse, I'm not... Well, I remember He's like, I'm making these for me. Yeah. I'm not doing it.
He did an interview, and they're like, what is this about, really? He's like...
Fair enough. Yeah. Grand Budapest is his best movie.
Yeah,
correct?
And that didn't come out that long ago. Like, it was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you ever see the fake, like, gag video of... Well, you know the one Tom Cruise where he's freaking out on the set of Mission Impossible? Yeah, he's 7? Like yelling at everyone. Somebody made like a fake video of that of Wes Anderson where he's like doing the same thing, and like it looks so real, and he's like, "It has to be symmetrical."
And he was faking it.
It was like it wasn't him, and it wasn't like real. Like nothing about it was real. It was a gag, but it was like really funny because it looks. They did the same thing as the video with Tom Cruise where it was like. Pictures of the set and like it had like the vocal monitor. Yeah. Like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it was like it has to be symmetrical. I'm Wes Anderson. And he's screaming. It was
well, because what was Tom Cruise's rant? It was about like
it was
COVID or something.
Yeah, it was COVID. They were doing Mission Impossible 7 in Italy, I think, and he was screaming. I guess people weren't doing proper COVID protocol. And that would like get their set shut down if they weren't doing that. Yeah, so he stopped what everyone was doing, and he was screaming. And he's like, "If I see it again, you're done. And if you don't do it, you're out." Yeah. And he was like swearing and screaming. And he was like, "We're trying to save Hollywood. There's people that have jobs." Like, so.
Fair enough.
Again, how genuine is he being?
Yeah, we don't know.
Like, I mean...
And then everyone clapped at the end.
Yeah. For a living, this guy pretends to get angry about things and scream. So, like, when...
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. We'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
Guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
Guess not.
I don't know. Well,
we done? Finished?
I guess so. I mean, you want to take us out? I mean, I feel like we're...
No, I'll let you, because I opened it.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for watching... the episode. This has been Slices live from Wethersfield, Connecticut.
Slices.
We're back. We're probably not going to have another episode for
quite
some time.
A while.
My co-host Kyle is,
I'm
half of Slices entirely is going off to Italy. So maybe Slices abroad.
Slices abroad.
That'd be wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Good
see.
Episode. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back soon enough.
Yeah, we'll be back for the next Oscars. Which should we maybe talk for like a minute about what we're? Because Barbie's gonna win production design.
Oh yeah, you want to? Yeah, let's see that quick.
So, what we know about the Oscars? Because that's probably gonna be our next episode. Is the Oscars for?
Yeah, wait.
The next.
Well, when is the Oscars? March.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, maybe it
Yeah,
won't be our
no.
next episode.
Yeah, no. We'll probably have
'Cause
maybe like 2 more.
We
before
did
then.
episode 1 of Slices like in March, I guess. We did it like way after we were back in school.
Well, yeah, we could do it in like January,
So
February.
yeah,
we'll probably have a
be
few
back.
more
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that.
So never mind.
All
We
of
will
you,
be doing
all
an
of you
episode,
viewers,
yeah.
don't worry.
Don't
We'll
worry,
be back
Mom.
soon enough. Yeah, exactly. don't worry, our 2 viewers.
Don't worry, Max's mom and Kyle's mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, hold on a minute.
Yeah, I have some predictions
Yeah.
as of August, even though it's incredibly early.
Yeah. I could not tell you like, what movies are gonna win what. Honestly, like I don't know what I have literally no idea whatsoever what is gonna win Best Picture, and that's not to say it's too early. I mean,
Yeah,
like I couldn't tell you what would win any given year.
I have no idea.
Because I just don't
But
know
I
what
have
goes on
predictions.
there. Yeah.
But
Go on.
so I'll say picture. I either think Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon's probably gonna
Oh,
win.
we didn't talk about that.
I think. Oh yeah, we should talk
Yeah,
about
good
that.
point.
Uh,
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
It's gonna be amazing.
Because critics have watched it already and have said like this is Leo's like
Yeah.
best performance ever. Like even with all the movies he's been in, it's like his
Yeah.
best performance.
It just like the trailer is like perfect. It doesn't give too much away, but like it tells you what it's about. I'm hoping it's. I have to doubt that this is gonna be a phoned-in thing for Robert De Niro.
Yeah, no.
People
People are saying
gotta
he was
think.
great in it too,
Yeah,
and it's got some A-listers too.
he can be great if he wants to. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of like.
It's got a stacked cast.
Yeah.
So
I
I'll
really
say,
really like Jesse Plemons.
yeah,
he's one of my
he's
favorite
great.
actors.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like him a
love
lot,
him
yeah.
too. He's really good. And then they got Brendan Fraser's in it too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll say either one of those two are going to win Best Picture. I'll say director. I'm either taking Christopher Nolan or Scorsese. One of those two.
True. It's so hard. That's how much hype
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese can bring.
I'd say I'm taking
I
one of
know
those
I
two.
have not seen the movie and I won't
Yeah,
be seeing
no.
it for months, but
Um,
so October.
actor. I'm going to say Cillian Murphy or Leo. One of those two.
True.
Actress.
You don't think Margot's gonna get it?
No, I don't. She
Because
might
that's
even be
another
nominated.
thing. She hasn't gotten one yet.
No.
So
I'd
it's like
say-
people-
No, I don't think she'll win. I think maybe Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple. I think she could win.
Did that come out yet?
No, I don't think so, but I think
Okay.
she could win.
Because that's gonna be a big
Yeah.
Oscar movie.
I think her, maybe Annette Bening,
Yeah.
because that could be a legacy thing.
I have no idea if Asteroid City is gonna be nominated for stuff.
I don't know.
I hope
But
it gets
I don't think Margot
cinematography.
Robbie's going to win.
Yeah.
I think she'll be nominated, but I don't think she'll
RDJ
win.
for supporting.
RDJ for supporting or De Niro. One of those two probably. And then actress, I think Lily Gladstone from the Killers.
That'd be
She's like the,
That'd be
right
interesting.
now, she's like the biggest lock. Like, so far, like, she's like the biggest lock.
True.
And then some of the other ones, like original screenplay, maybe Past Lives. That's a big one. Or
Yeah.
no, is Barbie? No, Barbie is adapted. Because that could win one
Oh, I
of the
don't
two.
know. I feel like it'd be original, like because adapted doesn't just mean if it's based off of an IP already. I think it means like if it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does Maestro come out this year?
Yeah, that's another one. I think Bradley Cooper will be like nominated for a lot of things too. Probably he'll probably be nominated for director and actor.
Yeah.
And then Carey Mulligan, I think, will be nominated.
Yeah.
I
She's
think she'll be
definitely gonna
nominated for. She could win
for sure.
also. She could win
Yeah.
actress.
Yeah, that's such a nominated. It's such a Sound of Freedom will not be nominated for a single Oscar.
No, it won't. Which is
You didn't see it, did you?
I didn't see it, but I don't think
I
it
want
will.
to see it. 'Cause
My
I'm really
mom saw
curious
it.
if it's good or not.
But yeah, so I've taken all those, and then
Also, we have to see what happens with Napoleon.
oh yeah, I think adapted. I think Killers will win. I think that's adapted. I think that'll win.
Oh, that's definitely adapted.
Yeah, I
'cause
think that'll
that's-
win.
that's a book.
Original maybe Past Lives,
Uh-huh.
or if Barbie. I don't know if that counts as original. That would win.
I'd be pretty curious if the Michael J. Fox documentary gets nominated.
That could be in there. And then so yeah, those are my predictions for the big ones. I really hope I'm Just Ken wins for
Yeah.
a song. That'd be really
I
cool.
hope so. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Oh, Bama Rush might be.
Oh yeah, right.
What's it? Documentary. Yeah.
But yeah, I really think like, and then I think the biggest maybe lock win is Across the Spider-Verse will probably win for the animated.
Absolutely.
I don't think anything's beating that.
Yeah. I liked it. I wasn't crazy about it.
Really, I loved it.
There's people
I thought
that
it was
like.
really good.
Did you see the Turtles?
No, the
movie.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. I guess that's just the way that. Excuse me. I guess that's just the way that animation is gonna go now. It's gonna like be
Like
2D, 3D mesh. It's gonna
Yeah.
have like really Gen Z humor, like funny,
Yeah.
goofy humor, like constant pop cultural reference of like, oh my God, did that turtle just say Drake? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That happens in the movie.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff like
So
that.
was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Was it good?
It's pretty funny.
Really?
Like from the times I've gone into the
I heard it
theater,
was
I've
pretty
like
good.
stuck around to watch. It's pretty like as far as like I would say it's like if like comparing it to Spider-Verse, I would say it's like a step down, like one step down.
Wow.
But there were parts of it that made me laugh. Like they're like trapped in Shredder's, or I guess it's not Shredder. I forget who the bad guy is, but like they're trapped in the lab and they're like saying like who like this is it for us. Like we gotta like oh man this is terrible. Donatello, what do you want? And like they're voiced by like kids, like they're actual kids in the like that's who they're
That's
voiced
cool.
by. And like they're like Donatello, what do you want? He's like I always wanted to see BTS, and they're like I mean we could sing, and like one of them's like I'm down, and then like they start singing, they're like jelly beans. You know what? And then like they're singing, and he's just like, you guys don't even know the words. It's hard to like explain what's so funny about it, but it's like
That's cool. Yeah, that'll probably be nominated.
yeah. The Deepest Breath I think is gonna be nominated for documentary also.
Oh, I'm looking now. Original screenplay. Yeah, Barbie's in there. The Holdovers. I hope that gets nominated for a few.
That comes
things.
out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be. I really want to see Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I wouldn't be mad if he ended up like winning either. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oppenheimer's adapted, so that could win too.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And then what about? Do you think Ryan Gosling could win for supporting? Do you think he could?
Honestly,
like,
maybe because he might have an even bigger. It's just his year.
Yeah.
You have to wait. We have to wait until it like becomes. The second we
Yeah.
start seeing petitions that are like, can we get some love for Ryan Gosling for
Yeah,
once? I'm like, it's
exactly.
over.
But he's been
won.
nominated.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to touch his like, I don't want to get anywhere near his career because it's like, it's been tainted by like he's literally me, guys. You know what I mean? Like the whole.
Yeah, I know. Dude, how many people are gonna dress up like Ken on Halloween?
Oh my God.
There's gonna the worst guys you know are gonna be wearing
Yeah.
that big like mink coat and like glasses and a bandana on Halloween.
Yeah.
That's gonna be terrible.
It's not a. I mean, yeah.
But
It's gonna be everywhere.
yeah, he could. But if like I would be upset if he won over RDJ, not that because he won, but because like who knows if Robert Downey will have another performance like this for a while. You know, maybe.
I hope he does.
Like Austin, when Austin Butler lost, everyone's like, well, he still has time. Like he could still easily win. Like Brendan Fraser.
Do you
it
think
was
he'll
his
be
year.
back? Do you think like Austin Butler will?
Yeah, because he's young and he already he almost won, so
Yeah.
he'll definitely be back.
Yeah.
I think he'll
Fair
end
enough.
up winning one probably.
Yeah.
Like you don't get nominated and almost win like when you're like 30 and like not end up winning one,
Fair.
because like they're just saying like, yeah, we like you. You know?
True. Yeah. I don't. Did you see the quarterback show?
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of it.
I only watched the first one.
I've seen a few. Yeah, why? What do you?
Just I saw a thing
curious.
for it while I was
Fair. Yeah, I've seen a
searching
few
for
of
the
those.
movies. It was, yeah. I don't know.
Decent.
It makes Patrick Mahomes seem even more likable than he already
I know,
is.
and it makes his wife
His
seem
wife
like
looked terrible.
Yeah. I know, because it's like Patrick Mahomes going like, I'm 5 years into my career and I've won 2 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs, like, and that's like, I mean, I guess we could do more. Like, I guess like it was pretty cool. Like,
I don't know. I'm just
and his
working
wife's
hard.
his wife's like, we are like gods. Like we are gods amongst mortals. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, he seems like a pretty humble guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well,
you wanna wrap
we
up?
already.
'Cause
We already like
when
closed out.
when
like,
we come
before,
back in 2024 January, we could talk about the predictions. Well, nominations, because at that time there'll probably be nominations, and then
Killers.
we can end up talking
That's
about.
what it was. We talked about nominations.
Yeah,
in
we
our
could talk.
first episode.
We could
That's
talk
what-
about
that's what I was-
nominations,
right.
and then we could talk about the actual
Yeah.
thing.
So that
And
happened in
there'll be
January.
movies that will come out that we could talk about.
That's what I got confused about. We talked about
Yeah.
nominations in January,
Yeah.
and then like after
Yeah.
that we did
Mhm.
reactions.
So we'll do the same thing, just like last year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Or this
Stay
year.
tuned.
yeah, stay tuned.
All right.
You want to take us out?
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching Slices. Check us
Thank
out
you.
on. Perhaps we'll have an Instagram page by then.
Hopefully YouTube. We'll get something
yeah.
on YouTube.
Leave a
going
like,
soon.
comment, and watch. What's WCTV?
WCTV.
TV 14.
Yes.
Weathersfield.
Weathersfield Public
Me-
Access
Yeah.
Television.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Have a good one.